Hello dear viewers, my name is Nino and you're watching Nino's product reviews, and today we're going to take a look at the two Funlet tablets which just came out. The one is a pink one and the other one is a blue one, although we're just talking about the covers. Really, we're not actually, the devices actually are white. But you do get a baggie which is pink and respectively blue. But other than that, they're supposed to be pretty much the same because they cost absolutely the same. Now let's talk hardware. We're talking about a quad-core MTK8163 clocking at 1.3 GHz per core. It's obviously a 7-inch tablet with a resolution of 1024 by 600 pixels, 1 GB RAM, 8 GB ROM, Android 5.1 and 2 megapixel cameras both back and forth according to the hardware specs. Now, as I've said, these two are supposed to be pretty much identical, but there are some differences, and I'm going to address these in my review today. Some things that I've noticed, which basically elevates one above the other in my personal opinion. Now, as you've seen, the pink one comes with the obvious pink cover and the pink baggie. And then another really nice thing about Simbans, they actually give you a charger which is coming with several adapters. So we have a US charger here. As you can see, I'm having a hard time to pull this out because of my fat fingers, but you get it. It's a US charger. You need to flip this up. And then you have a EU adapter, after which you get a UK adapter as well. So basically you could charge this puppy pretty much anywhere around the world. You could take it along, take the specific adapter, and you can charge it. Now that's pretty convenient, especially if you have children and they're used to playing their little Android games and stuff. You want to distract them while you're on your holiday. This is a good way to do it. Perhaps not the best example of parenting, but I'm not one to judge. Now let's take a look at the blue one. Since we've seen what the pink one has to offer, we should be expecting pretty much the same stuff to be hidden within the package of the blue one. Now, the blue packaging on the outside looks absolutely the same, and as soon as we open it, however, we're going to immediately see one of the differences. As you can see, the blue one is actually packaged without being in the actual rubbery cover. And you will notice immediately there's a difference. First of all, the cameras. The pink one's camera is on the top left, while the blue one's camera is actually in the middle. And if you look at ports and buttons, they're all positioned slightly differently. Both devices offer the same entries, but it would appear that, that their position has been changed slightly. It just does not look like it's all in the same place. Other than that, they are so far fairly similar, but there are already some changes that one can tell, some differences. Obviously, we have the warranty card and the quick installation guide, which is pretty good with pictures if you need it. And here we have the cover. And now there's the first thing I want to address about the blue cover. Now, that cover doesn't seem to fit quite as well as the pink one, in the sense that it does fit, but it feels like it's a little bit more loose. And this has a drawback. The power button on the blue device is actually on the, well, depending on how you hold it, let's call it at the bottom now. And in any case, the blue cover somehow, when you squeeze close to the button, when you hold the device close to where the button is, you're still pressing it, you're still creating a click. Which is not so good, because essentially what happens is you try to hold the device and you're actually pressing the power button. That's not very good. Now, I will intentionally review the blue one without its cover for pure convenience reasons. Now, as you can see, the menu looks a little bit different too, but both devices seem to be very snappy, very fast. And if you go to the actual device settings, you will notice that it is indeed 5.1 Android. Let me show you that in a second. But other than that, the screens are actually identical. You have the menu on the pink one, seems a little bit darker in color, but I actually didn't check if the brightness was set identically, so that might be the problem. Other than that, while you're actually running applications or videos, they really look the same. So the displays are definitely identical, but the actual feeling of the device, the pink one, is that if you have the cover on it, it's just going to feel like the cover is actual part of the device, while on the blue one the cover fits like an actual cover on a device. I know that sounds very vague, but I'm finding it hard to explain how it feels like. In any case, the pink one just feels better when I hold in the cover. Also, I had no accidental presses of any kind of button at that time while I was using it. So now what we're gonna do next is I'm going to actually benchmark it at these devices. Why am I doing this? In the past, the Kitty tablets were actually quite weak, but these two actually compacting a lot more heat than the previous ones. So the previous ones were so weak, I saw no point in testing them. But these are better, they are faster, both of them. Yet again, we'll see a discrepancy. When I take, this is the previous results I had. On the pink one I had about 32,000, I believe it was, and this one I had about 27,000, 26 to 27. Now what I'm gonna do is, yet again, I'm gonna benchmark them at the same time, and you will notice that that these values will again be quite far apart. And the question here is why. Now my personal experience with it has been that the blue one actually has a heat problem. It doesn't have a problem per se, but it dampens its productivity. You see over 35,000 on the pink one and only 27.3 on the blue one. Now as you use the blue one, I've noticed that the blue one heats ever so slightly more, and the more a processor of this kind heats up, the more it starts actually underclocking itself in order to preserve itself and prolong its lifetime. So this actually, it seems to me that although both are supposed to be the same device, they are built slightly different. They have the same hardware, but there are some kind of differences in there. Obviously I'm not going to open them now to investigate, but it is clear that the pink one performs slightly better than the blue one. Now this is not that big a deal, considering that here I'm going to show you how, for example, you run YouTube videos and everything. There's no problem with any of these two devices. They both work just as well. But the difference is really that that essentially one of them is a bit faster than the other. Even if these differences will not be noticeable to most users, especially if you have children, they really wouldn't care about that, because essentially both of them are fast enough to run most games, to browse easily, to watch videos easily. And this is what you want, you know. As you can see here, the browsing experience is excellent. Now I'm obviously not taking the most difficult pages to load, but I'm just trying to keep it consistent to show you on both devices how it runs. And Wikipedia is always a great option because pinch to zoom works on it. Many sites just don't allow it to me for some reason sometimes, so I just stick to Wikipedia at this point. The cameras are bad, but this wouldn't surprise anyone. As always, I really don't particularly care about cameras on tablets. So as you can see, the cameras are fairly bad, I would say. Yeah, this is the one point where the blue perhaps has a slightly better cards because of the positioning of the camera. And the pink one's camera is on the side, so you need to tilt it and adjust it. That's not something that I particularly enjoy. But other than that, you know, they're both bad. So I'm personally not a fan of cameras on tablets. I would never sit like an absolute douchebag and take pictures. And your children, which will be fairly young if you want them to play with these tablets, they will also not care that much about the quality of the picture. So the cameras are there front and back, they work, and they're absolutely sufficient for things like Skype calls. So that's nothing to worry about. And let's move on to the beef, the actual gaming experience. Now, as I've mentioned, most games will run absolutely without any issues. These tablets are significantly faster than the previous Kitty tablets from Simbans, and thus this will be absolutely not a problem. As you can see, we have multi-touch and stuff like that. Everything's working just fine. The games are responsive. They look great. There's absolutely no slowdown. The only games at which you will notice a slowdown will be games that are really graphically demanding, games like Asphalt, for example. But most children are actually not interested that much in these games because these games demand too much of them and they're not just standard quick-paced games. So this will not be an issue either. The previous ones couldn't either, and for that lower price you're getting more than you're paying for in any case. So I can definitely recommend them for gaming and for children. They're excellent devices, but there is this difference. And now that's not the only place where the differences are. I know I'm nitpicking here, but the other thing that I found strange is that on the blue device you basically have 4 gigabytes of space to use after the operation system is on it. But on the pink device you have 5 gigabytes. Now I don't know how 1 gigabyte is lost when why. I didn't have time to investigate, but that's yet another discrepancy which is in favor of the pink one. So obviously you can insert micro SD cards and that really wouldn't make that much of a difference because you have all the space you need, but it is something I wanted to address. Both devices have Bluetooth, of course, so you can use that too if you need to. But essentially for your children, this won't make that much of a difference. So if you have a girl and a boy and you don't want to give the boy a pink one as well, you should get him the blue one. It will still run pretty much the same as the pink one. It's just, like I said, the pink one slightly faster, has 1 GB more space, and just in general is, in my opinion, the slightly better device. They both cost the same, and you won't be losing much if you go for the blue one. But if you want to use the blue one without the cover like I am here right now, that obviously is against your interest, because if you're giving this to a child, you would want this device to survive a drop, and the occasional drop will come, trust me. And these devices do not have Gorilla Glass, so surviving a drop without any kind of cover is much less likely than with this rubber cover. But like I said, again, I can recommend these devices, especially the pink one. If you are somebody who is gonna give these devices to little children, this really won't make a difference for the child that one of them has slightly better performance than the other. They both last about a day at moderate use, so that's good too. And all in all, that's my review of the Simbans tiny tablets for children. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if that was the case, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support my YouTube channel further, you may click on the Patreon side on top, or you can also use the Amazon link that I've provided in the description to buy something within 5 minutes after clicking on that link. It really helps me, guys, and I'd be really grateful if you did so. In any case, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you on the next video.